at Dhaka Media Summit 2022, jointly organized by Media Studies and Journalism Department, University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh, and International Association for Media and Communication Research, IAMCR Bangladesh. As mentioned earlier, we'll now have a research panel entitled Social Media and Democracy in Indonesia, presented by our colleagues at Walisongo State Islamic University, Indonesia. Three presenters will share their research findings in this session. That includes Rofiq, Masrohatun, and Ahwan Fanani. We have Dr. Mahsun as the chair of this session. Without further ado, I would like to request our session chair, Dr. Mahsun, to take over from here and conduct the session. Dr. Mahsun.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Sakar. Everyone hear my voice? Is clear?
Yeah, you are clearly audible. You are clearly audible.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good evening, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Dr. Sakar for allowing me to host and become a moderator in this session. And then, first of all, I would like to thank so much to the organization committee from University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh, who give us the nice opportunity to present our paper in this great conference. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Mahsun, lecturer at Department of Political Science in Walisongo, Semarang. Today I'm so very happy to be here, become moderator in this panel session that will be discussing about the social media and democracy in Indonesia. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me to give a sort of overview about our topics. Today, social media has been increasingly playing a vital role in Indonesian democracy, Indonesian politics. The biggest Muslim Indonesia is the big democratic country in the world. In 2021, Indonesia has 272.20 million population, and there are 76.8% of them, or 202.35 million, are active internet and social media users. And so that's why many circular give a serious attention to explore use of social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and lately vlog video, and in TikTok that recently gained popularity among digital citizens as a new media to express thoughts and experience. This social media today become a platform that provide a wide range of virtual space to control public opinion and to gain political interest, political support, and a wide range of issues and discourses are easily found in broadcast and most available on this media, including those related to how the government and civil society and the people consult their agenda. In other hand, social media is virtual space as also political actor who consult their personal branding, political identity, gender issues, program politics, religious symbol, politics memes, like Dr. Sofian presented before, as a political strategy to influence and to preserve society in Indonesia today. The point is that I'm going to say the proliferation of social media today has the great effects on how democracy works on political and social order in Indonesia, both in national, in local level, or in the grassroots level. So concerning this trend, in this panel, we are going to discuss the different issues related to this new social media and democracy in Indonesia. The first issue is about the new state capital of Indonesia, IKN, ibu kota negara yang baru under public discourse in online media, in social media, that will be presented by Dr. Ahwan Fanani. He is a lecturer at the Department of Political Science in Walisongo, Semarang. And the second paper will discuss about the other side of village democracy, the collapse of identity politics in the dynamic of village heads election in rural Indonesia, that will be presented by Dr. Rofiq, MSc. And the last issues is about the deliberative democracy, the participation of the community in flood mitigation as coastal, and that will be presented by Ibu Dr. Masrohatun. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So now I would like to invite the first speaker, Bapak Dr. Ahwan Fanani, who will present about new state capital of Indonesia and the public discourse in all the media. Pak Dr. Ahwan Fanani, time is yours, please.
Okay, thank you, Pak Dr. Muhammad Mahsun. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh for everyone. Okay, it is very honorable for me to present my ongoing research on new state capital of Indonesia, IKN, under public discourse. And I would like to express my gratitude to all of our colleagues in ULAB, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, who give us the opportunity to share together in Dhaka Summit 2022. And today and this time, allow me to explain and about the ongoing issues in Indonesia, about the moving the state capital from Jakarta to eastern part of Indonesia, exactly in Penajam, in the bigger island Indonesia called Borneo or Kalimantan. And before discuss on this issue, I will provide a little bit on historical aspect in order to give us the comprehensive understanding on the issue and to put it on the overall development of Indonesia. And please next, okay, Reformation era. So basically Indonesia now in the Reformation era. For 32 years from 1966 until 1998, Indonesia was, I'm sorry, the slide is before it, so you jump. So okay, go back the slide. Okay, Indonesia was under New Order regime. Yeah. So it is under Suharto. Suharto is great leader of Indonesia, of course, but his regime, his government is so centralistic too. So the regime or the government was characterized by centralistic government with the military as the backbone. And economic growth was highly concentrated in Java Island, and capital flow was circulated 80% in Jakarta. You can imagine that there are several islands in Indonesia. Then we have Java. Java is the fifth biggest island in Indonesia. But the concentration of economy, politics, as well as population also lies in Java, especially in Jakarta. And so next that, so this problem create a very complex situation in Indonesia, in which in 1998 there are demand of society, of people to do reformation in our governmental system. Indonesia faced turbulence caused by the downfall of new regime or the regime in 1998, and followed by many problems like social conflict and other problem in Indonesia. But Indonesia faced new situation in which we have free press. We try to arrange our constitution in order to enable democratization of state institution, and then to push military into barrack and to limit their role in politics. And of course, the important part is the decentralization, because after the Reformation movement, there's come up several acts and regulation that enable the provincial government to manage the provincial more freely, and then the centralization was intended to boost the frontier of Indonesia, especially eastern part of Indonesia. Of course, Indonesia, in roughly, people can say that Indonesia consists of western part and eastern part. Western part is considered more advanced than the eastern part in the time. So in the Reformation era, the government tried to put the weight of development also into the eastern part of Indonesia. And then the next slide. So the idea of new capital actually is not new, because President Sukarno was said, our first president is said to plan to build a new capital in Kalimantan too, but of course the idea never happened. And in Reformation era, the idea got more serious attention, especially from our president now, Pak Jokowi or Joko Widodo. And in 2016, then government launched the idea to move our capital to Penajam or to eastern part of Indonesia, but leave Jakarta as business central of business. The idea was based on several arguments. The first is Jakarta is not so crowded and facing serious traffic jam, and because the Jakarta cover the area of 661.5 kilometers, inhabited by 10.5 million people. You can imagine that this city is very crowded, and of course Indonesia is under threat of flood and sinking, because it was built on the swamp actually, because in the past Jakarta is swamp area, and then it's built, and of course they have become growing and bigger and bigger, and now of course it still struggle to fulfill the good service for its inhabitant, because there are many immigrants coming from many areas in Indonesia to Jakarta, because Jakarta is central for economic circulation, of course. So the government think that we need a new economic center. I thought basically IKN or IKN is a new state capital, but it's aimed to provide a new center for developing economy in the eastern part of Indonesia. So by the separation between administrative center and business center, it's government hopes that there are two centers of Indonesia, one in western part in Jakarta still, and the second in eastern part of Indonesia in Kalimantan, that enable the distribution of wealth can be more better than before. The next slide. So in April 2019, so government decided to launch the IKN project, or the new capital, the state capital project. And it is followed by the announcement of site or place chosen for the new capital in August 26. And of course, the Minister of National Planning Board announced Nusantara as the name of new capital on January 17, 2022. Actually, the name refers to old name of Indonesia, because the islands of Indonesia in old time called Java and sometimes called Nusantara, or the islands between ocean or sea. And in 2022, in January 2, Indonesian Parliament issued the Act number 3, 2002 on Indonesian capital. So it is legal now that the project got back pick up from Parliament too. And then on March 10th, and since just few days, the government installed the authority, the chair of man of authority and this deputy to start or to begin the project. Respond, the next slide. Of course, the plan get opposition from many elements of Indonesian society. Some of them bring this objection to Mahkamah Constitution or the higher level of judicative board in Indonesia, in order that the board examine the act or the regulation issued by Parliament and maybe to abort it. But the effort is failed. Then they also grow the hard discussion in media, in television, also in social media and online media, and then that many elements of society express their objection with following arguments. The first, IKN required high costs, about now become 677 trillion Indonesia rupiah, or about $47 billion. And in fact, Indonesia now face the great debt, and our debt is grow higher because our government tried to build many highway in and infrastructure like a dam or other facilities, social facilities, airport and the others. So it's a very high cost, of course. And of course, in the process, we have our debt is grow higher and higher. So the opposition say that with the new ICANN, our debt will be more higher and will become a burden for the next government and of course for people if Indonesia fail to pay the debt, of course. And the second,
Ahwan, 5
Yes.
minutes left.
Okay, thank you. And the second argument is Jakarta is a cultural and historical center of Indonesia, because Jakarta has a long time become the center for Indonesian struggle for independence, and Indonesia represent the plurality of Indonesia. The third, Jakarta now getting better with many new building, and flood is lesser than before, and our level of traffic jam is lower now. And the time in the 3 years, Indonesia last 3 years, Indonesia is about fifth, the most crowded city, but now they become 15 or 20, so it's lesser. So they think that the new capital is no longer urgent. A decision to build IKN did not involve public adequately, because the discussion is among the government with parliament, but the voice of the wider public is not accommodated yet, according to opposition, of course. So the endorse of IKN by government is following social tension after the Jakarta government election that split Indonesian people into two groups, opposition group until now, because of, and then followed by the general election in 2019. And of course, the IKN gets support from various elements. The first is from religious wings, like Central Board of Nahdlatul Ulama, the biggest organization, Islamic organization in Indonesia, as well as Provincial Board of Muhammadiyah, the second biggest organization in Indonesia, and from youth wings, such Pemuda Pancasila of the Pancasila Youth, and then Indonesian artists expressing their support to President directly to Indonesian to Presidential Palace on 23rd February. So the other issues, last I think, the IKN or the plan to build IKN is suspected to lead to the extension of resident period. Indonesian Constitution set up the duration of resident service up to 5 years, and it may be extended once for the next 5 years. That's all. But along with the ICANN project, there rise the proposal to extend the president service up to the 3 periods, considering people or opposition consider the idea against constitution. And of course, the ICANN is suspected to give advantages for elite economically from the project, and we have a lack of budget, so it may fail and it become burden for the next government. And of course, the discourse is still ongoing in our society through media. For our experts, they express their concern on the IKN. Some of them support, some of them object to the plan. And of course, government insists to continue the building. And of course, what happened next is still we will wait what happened in next, because Indonesia will have a general election on 2024, and we just have 2 years remaining, and everything can happen in this next 2 years. I think it is what I explained is come from the discussion we can grasp from social media as well as from Indonesian media online that we can access freely in democratic society. Thank you very much. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Pak Ahwan. It's very good presentation. Pak Ahwan is present. Pak Ahwan give a short overview about Indonesian history of the issue of new capital of Indonesia, and in Jokowi regime and our government today, the idea of new capital of Indonesia will be implemented in the East Kalimantan, but until today, this policy still make public debate in mainstream media in Indonesia, especially in social media. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, because we have a limited time, I think it's very good if we move to the second presenter. Our second presenter is Dr. Rofiq Mahfuz, who will present about the other side of village democracy, the decline of identity politics in the dynamic of village head election in rural Java, Indonesia. Pak Dr. Rofiq, time is yours, please. You have 10 minutes to present your paper, Pak Rofiq. Thank you.
Saya share dulu di PPT-nya, sudah kelihatan belum?
Ya.
Sudah ya?
Sudah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Pak Mahsun, ladies and gentlemen, head of the Faculty of Social and Political Science, Ibu Elizabeth, Dhaka Summit resource person and participant. Good evening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I would like to explain about this study. This research is about the election of village head in the southern parts of Java in the province of Central Java. This study aims to explore the dynamic of the development of democratization in Indonesia, more specifically democratization at the local level. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I will start with the research funding and research question. Almost a month there, I met with several people for interview and collected some data. I got some experience, including the issue of the strengthening of identity politics sentiment is very strong, but has been defeated by the real work of candidates who come from minority of certain religious group. Research question: why are minority candidates able to win the contestation in the village head election in the midst of the majority religious vote. Number two, how do religious minority candidate win majority religious vote in village head election? I want to talk you locus research locus. Okay. This research was conducted in village in Semarang region, Southern Central Java, in Rokomulyo. Rokomulyo ini berbatasan dengan Susuan, Kabupaten Semarang. And village overview, village area ini sekitar 4 km. And ada 6 dusun, 6 hamlet, RW 13 di 35 pitches ya. Then total population until 31 December 2021, population in this village 4,173 souls. Male 2004 3 souls, and female 2,130 souls. Then number of place of worship, mosques ada 2 buah, 2 page, musola 6 page, church 2 page, ada 2 gereja. And then religious followers, pengikut agamanya Islam 3,705 Christian 398, Catholic 17, Buddha 2, and stream of faith 4. Total 4.179. Then how a dynamics and issue of local democracy in Indonesia. Biasanya banyak isu di dalam politik demokrasi lokal itu, diantaranya adalah beats issue, gender issue, local elite patron, education issue, religious issue, rights family issue. Of the various issue, that I meant above the headers is the issue of religious. Yang paling banyak di demokrasi pemilihan kepala desa di sini isu agama. What is being done? Apa yang dia lakukan oleh orang yang oleh kandidat yang menang? Number 1, silence. Real work, not force, mutual respect, and not political money. Tidak ada money politik di sana, tetapi menang. Then, for example, voting for Pride 1, periode yang pertama, Mr. Trimen ini seorang pendeta, itu mendapatkan mendapatkan 1,696 empty book melawan kotak kosong 400 menang. Untuk periode yang kedua, the second pride vote procurement, Pak Trimen juga menang melawan Muslim. Pak Trimen mendapatkan
Mas Rofiq,
1,761 and Pak Muhammad Yamin 731. Ladies and gentlemen, conclusion. So that religious issues are no longer relevant as an important instrument in the complex strategy to win grassroots voice in the flow of democracy in village, instead of being able to create group sentiment. However, various identity issues have been ignored by the majority religious voice owner themselves. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what I said, and I'm happy if someone give input in this article, in this study. Thank you very much for Mr. Mahsun. Thank you.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you so much, Pak Rofiq, for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to give the short overview from the Dr. Rofiq presentation. I think Dr. Rofiq present about the, I think, give the new phenomenon in Indonesia about the identity, the discourse of identity politics. Dr. Rofiq present about the discourse of identity politics, Indonesian democracy is grassroots level in the village politics. As we know, in Indonesia, identity politics has the great effect on electoral democracy, especially in the national politics, such as in the president election in 2019 and the local head election in DKI Jakarta in 2017. But based on Dr. Rofiq research on the village head election in Central Java, Indonesia, explained that identity politics doesn't have great effects on electoral politics. It's proved by the win of a candidate from minority in the village head election. I think this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we come in the last presenter, Ibu Masrohatun, MSD, who will present about the deliberative democracy, participation of a community in flood mitigation at coastal. Ibu Masroha, time is yours, please.
Okay, thank you very much.
Pak Rofiq, maybe you can turn off your share screen. Mbak.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your opportunity to deliver my research. The first, I wanna say thank you very much to the chairman of the Media Summit, Dhaka Media Summit, University of Liberal Arts Bangladesh, Mr. Sarkar, Parpak Sarkar, and Honorable Chairman of this panel session, Mr. Muhammad Mahsun, and unforgettable, the Dean of Social and Political Science Faculty, Walisongo State Islamic University, Madam Elizabeth. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and sorry if you hear the adhan because this time is Maghrib prayer. Okay, I will share my presentation. Moment. Okay. Can you see my PPT?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. This is my research about deliberative democracy, participation of community in flood mitigation at coastal, especially in Sayong district of the Mahsun Sea, Indonesia. Okay. Because of this research, the first is the global warming have a serious impact in first part of this of the country, including Indonesia. The impact of global warming makes the volume of the sea to increase and the land surface down as a result of taking fresh water sources from the earth make tidal sea into the mainland. From this phenomenon, there are more than 221 houses can account from 2003 till 2019 or over than 10 years period. That data from ISA in his research on 2014. Besides that, the flood, the tidal flood makes the income of the coastal community decrease till 75%. That data from Ismail in 2012. Uh, if today maybe more than that because all of the mainland in that district full of the water. That is because of the tidal flood damage rice field and pond owned by residents and damage public facilities such as mosques, school building, and especially roads. That is condition of the coastal communities, especially in Sayong district. This is my research question. The first is, how is the implementation of the deliberative as a public sphere for coastal communities in the Sayong district in an effort to deal with the tidal flow? And the second question, they are the form of the community participation on the Sayong district in an effort to deal with the tidal flow. Actually, this research use a qualitative method studied to Sayong district, especially in 4 villages that are Surodadi, Bedono, Tugu, and Timbul Soloko village. It used phenomenology approach and how to collect this data. I use observation and deep interview in several people who is a community of that district. I use theoretical framework from Habermas, especially deliberative democracy. The concept of Habermas is public policy making will only achieve legitimacy if public deliberation is carried out before the policy is decided. This deliberative democracy is an effort to place the position of an emancipatory society through public spaces. Habermas' deliberative democracy has 3 main principles. Namely, the first principle is deliberation. Deliberation, it means that before making a decision, it is necessary to carry out in-depth consideration with all relevant parties. The second is reasonableness. That means is in carrying out joint consideration, there should be willingness to understand other parties, and the argument raised can be rationally justified. And the third is freedom and quality of positions. This means that all parties in joint discussion in full have equal opportunities to speak up and have freedom to express their thought, consideration and ideas openly and are willing to listen. The next is, this is the concept of my research actually, special. The first is there are tidal floods, so there are many problems for this for tidal flood, and so community to do discussion and how they get problem solution from the tidal flood, and how they can same perception about the solution of the solve the problem. And one of the program is fundraising, and from the fundraising, so the people can elevate the road. Tidal flood and dynamic of the Sayung community. This is the describe about tidal flood and how the community of Sayung district can survive in the tidal flood condition. The first tidal flood actually began to be experienced by residents in 1995 by the hamlet exactly Rojosari Seni and Tambak Sari Bedono village. This is the first village is get tidal flood. There were approximately 275 families in 2006 relocated to Kemula and Sidokemah village, that is in 2006. And the social cultural activity that characterizes the Demak people is namely Zipinan, the tambourine dance, Zipinan, as usual Demak people said. But no, the cultural activity Zipinan is not longer developing, but the tambourine Rebana is still running. Socio-economical, many communities become employed because of the tidal flood. Many of community become employed because their pond is namely tambak or rice field are no longer functioning. Besides that, some of them choose to become construction worker on factory labor. The governance for the tidal flood, actually government of the Maracansi is will respond to public complaint. So that village and village fund, as name is DD, and village fund budget ADD are not able to be the main supporting in handling tidal flood. And minimum, especially communities minimum once every 4 till 5 years, the community must raise the home floor at least 0.5 meters from the ground floor. So actually 4 till 5 years. And when the poor people usually let their houses get water every day. So pity. Most of the community houses are look shorter like the draw house because the owner only raises the ground floor without raising the roof. Religious activities such as yasinan, tahlilan, manakipan, dibaan, especially religious activities are still doing. The deliberation is held on basis of community concern with the condition of the village, which often hit by tidal flood. This activity is carried out to find solution to elevate the road so that community activities are disturbed and people can renovate their houses because of the elevated the road is full of the water. The deliberation began after Idul Fitri in 2021 on one of the hamlet, namely Tugu, followed by the village of Surodadi, Bedono, and Timbusloko. Some meetings are held formally and non-formal. A formal meeting as usual held in the home of village official, such as in Surodadi village, but while many other hamlets could throw informal forum, they do that when the congregation finished in the mosque during tahlilan, yasinan, and other activities. The deliberation went well because its deliberative principle, according to Habermas, as like deliberation, reasonableness, and freedom, and quality of position was did well. An example of the principle of deliberation in deliberative implementation is that community discusses in depth before making a decision. The principle of reasonableness, for example, is provide an opportunity to express his opinion, and the principle of freedom and equality position, namely in discussion forum, not only men but also women have the freedom to express their thoughts, consideration, and idea openly and are willing to listen. This is actually in the framework. Is there for program or activity the solution of the tidal flood in Sayong district? The first is fundraising in road directly, mangrove planting, and the third is citizen juice and charity box. Condition that support why the implementation of deliberative democracy do well in Sayong district community. This is the coastal communities are quite religious, so they have a high enough awareness. The second, some of the religious activities doing communally makes it easier to people together, for people together. And the third is coastal communities are classified as open communities, open-minded. This is the participant of Sayong district community in an effort to deal with tidal flood. This is the activity fundraising in the road directly. As usual, some of people gather and ask sodakoh in Islamic or in Indonesia said. This is the pork, the charity pork, and this is the mangrove planting. When the fundraising do as a special, as usual, this activity is carried out every day from the 19 past 30 minutes PM until 5 PM. Then in group by resident and taken according to specific schedule. Yeah. So actually from this group, every week is different group has duty. Fundraising proceeds are located at the pointed resorts, and money will be spent on buying padas. This is a like stone, but more how to say lembek. Once a week, many residents help provide food to those on duty. Women take part in fundraising directly, and generally a day can get more than ₹1,000,000. As usual, located on side of main road or district roads. But if the activity of mangrove planting, the first is conducted by young people or youth organization. The namely is Karang Taruna. So this is the young generation. Mangrove trees cannot be done every day, but because the mangrove need settling first, and can be done 2 times a year. Actually, this planting mangrove can do 3 times a year. Mangrove are planted around people's home and along rivers.
Mbak Roha, 5 minutes left.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yes.
We have to
okay.
pray.
Charity book held every day. No special card. There is no special people to keep this book, and the funds that have been collected in the book are opened once a week. The amount of this charity book it is not much compared, no higher or than the direct fundraising. Actually, the conclusion, through deliberation, the community found solution to the problem of handling tidal flood by carrying out several forms of the activities such as direct fundraising, charity boxes, and planting mangroves. Basically, the community can easily accept the principle of deliberation, such as the reason is given by other participants if the problem is common interest. Women are not very involved in deliberation, but the role of the woman, the fundraising directly on the route, is even full dominant, but the process elevated route is mostly done by male. And communities can do self-help in the means of existence, a government that is considered slow. Thank you. This time back to Mr. Muhammad Mahsun.
Okay, thank you so much, Mbak Masrohatun, for your great presentation. Very nice presentation. I think we can get some many information about how the deliberative system works in the local level to solve the flood in the Demak city. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now the all presenter have finished presenting the paper. Now we come in the Q&A session. Maybe any audience here will give some question to the speaker. You can raise hand.
This is
Hello?
prior.
Maybe if there is no audience
Yes.
give the question. I think I have some questions for the speaker. The first is Pak Dr. Ahwan Fanani. Pak Dr. Ahwan Fanani present about the uh, debate debate on new state capital of Indonesia in the mainstream media in Indonesia. But there's some opinion that support our government policy about this, and then the other hand there is rejected about this policy. But you in your presentation you don't have the explanation about your position and your opinion about between this controversy of the Indonesian government policy of the new capital of Indonesia from that will be moved from Jakarta to Kalimantan. I think we need I need to know what your position in this controversy about the policy, Indonesian policy of a new capital of Indonesia that will be moved in the Kalimantan.
I answer directly, Dr. Mahsun.
Directly?
I should answer directly, no? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So actually, the process of the moving the capital into the Kalimantan is, according to me, is something that usual, because any policy to boost economy, to try to divide or to distribute wealth in many places to Indonesian society widely is good. However, of course, this IKN project actually very risky now, because we have 2 years, and 2 years is maybe we can just solve the cut and fill and the basic infrastructure. Of course, we will take more time, maybe about 5 years or 10 years. And of course, the impact of the policy is the extension of the period of presidential service. So it is the risky thing from this project now. Until next 2 years, I just predict that the IKN just finish the lands cut and fill, and then the basic route, and then maybe like a foundation. It's all. But how to finish it when the government changing? This is the risky question. How would happen if the president is changed?
Yes.
The president is saying,
Yeah, the quick question, I think.
I will leave the building unfinished, like like in SBA what olahraga, what say? Wow. Yeah, so I think the president is very, very afraid of this consequence. So his inner circle try to push the idea of extension, and it is the very, very critical, because I think the resistance is very high too, like the survey. So if the government insists to extend it in order that the project is finished, of course, it will lead to social turmoil, social discontent, and I think it's very, very dangerous. I cannot answer not that, but basically, as the project is nothing. I think it's good thing, the good idea to build the to give the share of development to other part of Indonesia. As we know that maybe Jokowi is good in developing the frontier in Indonesia, like in NTT and the others. But until now, because this IKN so ambitious, I think the risk of go so high, and I cannot answer what happened next. So just see the next. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Dr. Alfani, for your explanation about your position to say how the government's policy on the new state capital of Indonesia. And then I want to move actually on the part of it, but part of it permit he will pray, Maghrib pray, and then so I wanna give one question to Bu Masrohatun. I think Bu Masroha has a present how the global warming has its impact on the community life in the coastal area in Sayong district, especially Central Java, Indonesia, in the form of flood, and how local communities in coastal area participate to find a solution to solve the problem of floods. And using Habermas deliberative theory is blinding this phenomenon. But my question is, to what extent does public participation in this system, deliberative democracy that you say you mentioned, influence decision making regarding the mitigation of flood in the Sayong districts?
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. Actually, people of this coastal area have independent situations, but actually they ask the official village to do a discussion, but the what official village actually not join for this what to say what it's like this when the community have reason to do voluntary solve the problem of tidal flood, they just make a discussion, small discussion, and after the discussion get the special decision, and one of the people said asked to the leader of official village to do this activity, and there is no how to say campur tangan, what
Interfere apa nama?
yeah, okay, no intervention from the official. So, and how to manage the money from fundraising is managed by the communities. And when the discussion, especially so reasonable, and one of all of the member of this discussion get opportunity to speak up, as like that.
Okay, thank you so much for Bu Masrohatun. Maybe any the other audience that who has a question. If there is no question again, I would close this session panels, and I wanna say thank you to all speaker for your nice presentation, and thank you for the audience for your attention to our panel. And the last is I am very thank you so much for Dr. Sarka for the time and from the nice opportunity for us to share our paper in this CRITS conference. And now I would like to give the time to Dr. Saka to handle this forum. Thank you so much for me.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Mahsun and the others.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Saka.
Ahwan.
I don't know.
Okay, thank you so much to our panel chair, Muhammad Mahsun, for chairing the session and also for correcting my mistake. I'm very sorry that I messed up with your name. My apologies. I hope that will be accepted. This was a very naive mistake.
Yes.
So let me thank you again for chairing the session and all the presenters, Rofiq, Masrohatun, and Ahwan, Fanani, in this session, very important session again, social media and democracy in Indonesia. We had another session before this that was also, very connected to the themes of social media. By Walisongo University, your university, that discussed about social media and religious moderation in contemporary Indonesian Muslim society. And so we can easily understand how important social media has become in our life. And as we all know, it has become an integral part of our life and like every spheres of life, including the other issues like politics, religion, identity issues. So in all narratives, we are now having this one term common, social media. And so I think this is very important. This is imperative to discuss these things. And thank you so very much that you have come up with all these researches and you shared your insight with us from Indonesia. So as we approach to the closer of this session, let me again express our heartily thanks and gratitude to Walisongo State Islamic University, Indonesia, your university, for supporting us in organizing Dhaka Media Summit 2022 as an associate partner. And we worked together before. I hope that will continue and our relationship as academic partners will grow further in future. With this, we are down to the last session of the day, day 3 at Dhaka Media Summit 2022. In this session, my colleagues at the Media Studies and Journalism Department, University of Liberal Arts, Bangladesh, and also from Khulna University, Bangladesh, are going to present their insights on technology and future of Bangladeshi journalism. Please allow us a few minutes to prepare for this session. We will, actually, we also have a little time left for this session as well. So we will come back to this session again at 7 p.m. Bangladesh time. That would be 8 p.m. Indonesian time and 7:30 p.m. In Indian time. So 8 p.m. in Thailand time as well. So see you back in about 20 minutes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.